Talk to me about the kind of people you're helping and what's happening today.
We have people from around all of Ukraine, people from cities that are now attacked by Russians, like Kyiv, Dnipro, Odessa, Mariupol. So many other regions are coming seeking shelter in my native town. Right now I'm talking to you from Vinohradye, which is a very small town in the west of Ukraine, near borders with two European countries, Romania and Hungary. So we have already gave a shelter to 1,000 people for the last few days. And this is like, we have in our town 20,000 people. So imagine 1,000 people came just in few days. We gave the shelter them here. We provide here for them food. So they now sleep in dormitories. Some of them are provided with hotels and flats, but many of them will be soon just left in the gyms. So we make shelters in schools, in gyms. We provide beds, we provide bed sheets, we provide pillows, and we give them food. So that's what we are doing. We receive a lot of support from neighboring countries. We receive a lot of support from Romania, from Hungary. I'm also responsible for humanitarian assistance and help. So we have storages here of food. We have storages of many products, and also some individual protection stuff, like individual hygiene stuff. So like soap and pillows and servettes and stuff like that. So we collect all that and provide to people. Yeah, so we collect all that, and we provide to the refugees all the things that they need. So far we are good, but I think that in a few days the situation will be worse because even more people are coming to us.
Yeah, Andrii, talk to me about where people are coming from when they get to you. How far have they travelled? What are their plans? Because by the sounds of it, they are stopping in your town to have some rest, to gather themselves and go again, head to the border. Where are they coming from? Talk to me about their stories.
Okay, so people are driving for 30, even 70 hours to get to this town, to get to Transcarpathian region, because of the lots of people that are now traveling to this part of the country. So some of them, they stay in this place, they find some shelter from them, and they stay here hoping that the war will end soon and they will be able to come back to their homes. But many of them are traveling abroad. So now we have queues on all our borders, and some people even sleep in the cars to get to the Europe. So that's a huge problem for us, because many of them, they decide again to stay in my native town and all towns around here because they just can't, cross the border. Although the border procedures are very simplified right now, still, because of a huge amount of people that are going abroad, it's just impossible to cross the border.
Yeah, Andrii, how are people? Because we keep talking to people here on Sky News. We want to tell Ukrainian people's story. We want to inform the world about what's happening in your country. And there is a lot of defiance from Ukrainian people. But we're talking about families that have been split up because, for those watching at home, the men in Ukraine have to stay. They have to stay to fight. And that means that wives, sisters, mothers are having to leave on their own with children for other countries. Just what is that like for those women and children? I can't even imagine. I'm choking up just asking you the question.
You can't imagine, I'm 33 years old, a guy who studied in the Netherlands, who lived a normal life, in the capital of our country. I wouldn't even imagine, and no one would imagine that in the 21st century, the war can start. The war that destroys your home, the war that destroys yourself, the war that can kill your relatives, it's impossible to imagine, trust me. No one can imagine. And even people in this Transcarpathian region who didn't hear the missiles, they can't imagine that there is a war just, 600-700 kilometers from here. The families are split up. Mothers are taking their children and going abroad. They're looking for shelter. The men are staying in Ukraine. They're trying to fight. They go to military. They want to serve in the military. They want to fight for their home. And that's the reason why we stand for the last 6 days, and we will stand even more, because this is our land. We are going to fight for every centimeter and for every inch of our land. And we just want to make sure that our mothers, our sisters, and our kids are in the safe place, and then we are going to fight. Many Ukrainians are already fighting now. And that's why we need to help all of them to make sure that, their backyard is secure. Their families are in a secure place, their families have food, and they will survive any case.
Well, Andrii, you're doing an incredible job just to reassure those who have had to send their families away from their hometowns and cities to borders with other countries. You're doing a great job in looking after them and making sure they get somewhere safe. So, on behalf of those watching who are affected, thank you for what you're doing. And just a final question. How safe do you feel in your town at the moment? Because what we are learning over the last 6 days is that what we thought would be targets by Russia, everywhere is a target. Nowhere in Ukraine is safe. How safe do you feel right now?
Well, this part of Ukraine is safe because it's 800 kilometers from Kyiv. And I would say that this is the safest part part of Ukraine so far. And we don't know what will be in the next few days, but I believe that we will be the last, piece of land, if in any day taken by the Russians. And we will fight till the end. So I believe that, at this place where I'm sitting right now, so this will be the place where Ukrainians either will die altogether or will survive and kill all Russians. And then we will stand for our freedom. I mean, Russian soldiers.
Andrii Zhupanyn, MP in Ukraine, working from his hometown to provide shelter for those who are trying to leave Ukraine as it is under attack. Thank you so much for joining us here on Sky News. Stay safe. Thank you. And we hope to speak to you again in the future. Thank you.